Just being a massive behind Ego Swift, but there's the bounce back on the Warble. Can't get over the Emperor's Divide. Triple kill.
But now Perfection's been caught up by flying shoe. Tallybacker gonna destroy before the ulti procs.
He gets knocked into everyone. Delivered to Swiffer though. Death Ray doesn't find him. Swiffer gets tagged by the jump. Flashes out of the way of the pound. Swiper. He's gonna find Shelby and he's gonna destroy him as well. And AV, everything went wrong.
A kill now. Perfection gonna get died, but the ulti up from Claire's gonna flank him. He wants King, but he gets busted shot back into the tower. Exhaust is down.
Get himself out as Swiper's found his way into the fight. Egypt, very, very low radius, still getting damage in this fight. Kensti uses the Zonias, takes down Egypt, doesn't have the pull, and
damage is too much here. King really does. Will get Minky, but Claire wants it as well. Oh, he's gonna go in for the cleanup. Shot gonna try and tie him up. A nice Zonias will buy him some time. He does die.
kill. Radiant looking to try and get his team to the grand final. Knocked into the wall with the Mega Knife. There's a rock to take him down to a Spooks.
Once again, like, try to demolish the other team.
Well, they beat us in winter finals, so we want our chance to get back with them in a real game.
But Claire wants it as well. Oh, he's going to go in for the cleanup.
It would just absolutely mean the world.
We're kind of used to it, actually. The team Legacy, they have a history of beating the Chiefs at LAN.
Wow! This is Ride Hype here, live from Sydney, Australia, Luna Park for the 2015 OPL Grand Final. If you like that intro, let me hear you make some noise! It's amazing, man. The crowd is hype, everybody's hype, but let me tell you, we have an epic battle going on this afternoon between two teams, the Chiefs and Team Legacy. Without further ado, let me send it over to the professionals and the analyst desk. Pastry time, take it away.
Hello and welcome everyone to the OPL Grand Finals Analyst Desk. Thank you very much, Riot Hype. My name is Julian Pastry Time Carr, and I'll be your host for this evening on the desk. Joining me tonight are three absolutely wonderful gentlemen. Here on my right, it is the very handsome man himself, the color commentator extraordinaire. It's Zach Rusty Pie. Moving down the mid laner from Sin Gaming, and he's pretty good at this game as it turns out. It is Jason Rymeister Ryan, and last but not least, right on the end, the man who only has a pen mightier than his hair. It is Alex Manazir. Gentlemen, how are you all?
Fantastic. It's so good to be at Luna Park. Everything going on. It was almost overwhelming to be here and be a part of this experience that we've all gone through today.
It was really overwhelming. You saw the DJ Sono. It's been insane all day as well. Rymeister, what's been your favorite thing in the park today?
My favorite thing about the park today has been the Ferris wheel. Just seeing my favorite champions, Zed and Yasuo. Those little details have made my day here.
Yeah, what about you, Manasir? What have you really enjoyed today?
Well, you know, I'm an esports tragic. I was all hyped about the final, but getting to know the community and the turnout has been absolutely amazing. Love talking to all the players. I just love getting to know everyone.
It has been insane. And what about the cosplay? There has been so many good cosplayers out there as well. Like, it's hard to pick a favorite, but if I had to, it might be that Azir.
That Azir was ridiculous. What can you even say about that? But if you have to bring up a selfie question, you go to the selfie king himself, I should say, with cosplayers. Minicia.
Yeah, I got a photo with a really cute Dino Gnar earlier. Really encapsulated the spirit of the hero, I think. But I saw the Pulsefire Ezreal with the blinking lights.
Oh my.
You guys seen that?
That guy was ridiculous, like absolutely insane. And the fact that there's people live there in the big top, people here at Luna Park still watching, even people at home watching or in cinemas around Oceania as well. The fact that this turnout has been this big and you guys are making it all that special, it's just been awesome.
It's unreal. Again, it's an event, not just an esports competition. It's been unbelievable.
It is indeed, and we want to have a special nod to you out there in the community, so let's see what you guys have been up to today. And there you have it. It's been so great to watch you all out there today. Been a lot of fun around the park, that's for sure. But we do have a grand finals approaching here as well. Chiefs versus Legacy. What a match here as far as teams go.
Yeah, it's going to be an unreal game. Of course, everything on the line for both of these teams. Making it to Worlds themselves is going to be unbelievable.
It is indeed. And you can see now, have the teams arriving earlier today. Been looking pretty swanky. You know, both these sides just really want to take it to each other. It's always a hotly contested game between Chiefs and Legacy.
It's nice to see them both really confident as well, because they both know what's at stake, but we heard it in their Q&As. They both know they're going to win,
yeah,
so it'll be interesting.
That was fun actually there as well. Very cheeky from both teams there with their Q&As, but there's just been a lot going on, to be honest. And these teams, you'd have to think at the top of the year, this might be the clash we expect, but didn't get it until the last end of the year, and what a stage for it too at Luna Park.
Of course, you couldn't have a better stage for it. Luna Park, it has been unreal, and it's just only mounting up to this one big moment, this whole split.
Yep, just to let you know as well, we did also have a coin toss earlier this evening, so we do see very coin being flipped there. The Chiefs did win the flip, by the way, getting the head. So the sides for tonight will be blue, blue, red, all for the Chiefs. So you can figure out how that swaps back and forth, but the Chiefs going to start off with at least a slight edge.
Yeah, and Rymaster, you know, blue side, first pick, you think it'll help them out a bit?
Yeah, definitely. They prioritize certain champions, such as the Alistair. So, and recently, since the mid-meta has changed, Swiffer doesn't mind like having a blind pick matchup with Orianna, with Lulu, or zone control mids. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, as far as these two teams go, like we've said, historic rivalry between the two here. I'm not too sure who the favorite is. Obviously, the Chiefs have had such a good season, but these two teams are just so good, and Legacy have really had a swan song, it feels like. Manasir, how do you feel the teams have been playing? Because again, form was not there, at least for Legacy, at the start of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to almost wonder which team's more confident heading into this, because both teams absolutely powering up throughout the end of the split. But Chiefs undefeated this split, but Legacy never dropped a set against the Chiefs, so you got to wonder who's feeling better there.
Well, we're going to have a quick look at the Chiefs, at least to start things off, and see just what's on the line for them tonight.
At the beginning of 2014, we were going into every single event thinking, oh, how could we possibly lose like anything? Like we're so good. And it was that overconfidence that led to our downfall, I guess.
I think the worst moment for us as the Chiefs would be losing Winter last year.
This is Avant-Garde Ascension, whitewashing immunity, Swift is dead, that's an ace, and that is Avant-Garde Ascension going to the wildcard tournament.
We haven't really faced a defeat like that before. Even in practice before tournaments, we would never lose. Like we would go into games and we would just win every game. So facing defeat was probably the biggest shock for us overall, and us not getting a chance to go to Germany was just huge.
I remember just being completely deflated. I remember that only 3 of us could do fan signings because the other 2 were just so incredibly depressed that they just had to like go back to the hotel room and just like chill out.
What we gained from that was that we were a lot determined to basically just never feel that way again. You know, why feel that way if you can just win every single tournament? And I think that's what we strive for this year, just like practice really hard, win every tournament and have no regrets.
Winning in front of a crowd is just amazing because the crowd just erupts, and like to see all your fans out there, to have like people cheering, it's just a really amazing experience.
When the crowd goes off when you make plays, it's just gives you like goosebumps, and it's a lot different than playing, you know, just in your own room.
Playing Legacy in the final, I think, will mentally be more difficult than playing Direwolves because I have like the connection with them and I played with them for almost 2 years. It would mean everything to win OPL. It would justify my move to Chiefs, I guess. If I don't win, I'm gonna look like a complete idiot.
I can only imagine the feeling of standing up in front of 6,000 people cheering for you as you close out the series. Whew.
And you can see the Chiefs, they're so important to them here to try and take it all. They've been on such a hot streak pretty much all year long. They won the first split, winning that tournament there as well. Magical International didn't do that well, unfortunately, but they will get another shot if they can take out Legacy here.
And I mean, there's a lot of sides to the Chiefs, and we don't know what they're going to bring out in particular. We're expecting, as Rymeister said, the mid lane being very strong, but most importantly, as you mentioned, they don't like losing very often.
They don't, and the streak that they have been on recently has been absolutely absurd. 26-0, I believe, in Oceanic came to, just ridiculous. But let's break down a bit about how that happens. And Rymeister, I want to ask you first. You're a mid laner, of course. You've played against Swiffer a couple times. Yep. How important is Swiffer to their team?
Swiffer has always been detrimental to the Chiefs lineup. However, over time, as we saw in this split with the addition of Ejim in the bot lane, they've had a more aggressive bot lane. So there's been relief off his shoulders to carry, and he's been able to play his own style, just farm up, reach his power spikes, and teamfight.
Yeah, and because he's been able to play his own style, that means the other star player of the team, Radier, has been really able to step up. The replacement of Rosie with Ejim, we thought it'd be shaky at first, and we were right, but I think Ejim's aggressive style play has really unlocked a lot of Radier's latent skill set, and it's really showing in his kill count.
Yeah, completely. I mean, he has 146 kills, I believe it is, total throughout this split, and that is 31 more than all of Sudden Fear as a team, and 4 more than all of Sin, sorry, Rymeister, as a team total.
Yeah, and again, the change has really been good for them, because as far as regular season matches go, 4-0 against Legacy currently there as well. So the Chiefs, it's not just the hot streak, it's the teams that they've been beating as well. A 13-1 split 1, a 14-0 split number 2. And Alex, I know you're a big fan of this player. He is absolutely insane, been playing well, especially in this split. Let's talk about Radier.
Yeah, no, Radier, I just can't keep singing his praises, really. I look at him and I thought, at the beginning of his career, he was a bit of a clean-up AD. But you just know this guy just keeps improving. We voted him. He was in the top 5 most improved players for this split. Obviously, the entire victor of that going to Ryu from Team IM. But Radier, he just keeps getting better. And you talk to him, he'll just keep talking to you about he just wants to get better. He wants to smash everyone. He never wants to lose. And you know, if he shows up to that tonight, I think Legacy are going to have a hard game on their hands.
Yeah, just from the way I've seen him play, completely agree. He's been insane. But, you know, it's not just these new supports that are helping out, and Radier's streak and Swiffer getting to take a bit of that step back, but still being such a force. Rusty, let's talk about that jungler Spooks, who's had a very strong season as well.
Yeah, now Spooks, one of the more exploitable members of, I won't say weak, he's definitely by no means weak, but he's 100% exploitable in the way that he plays around the jungle, and this is something that Legacy can play towards 100%. They can put all of their focus into that, is that he doesn't fight. He will never, ever fight you because he doesn't need to. He relies on his laners, such as Radier, getting really far ahead and just late game team fighting and winning. So if Legacy can bring it to them, they may have a chance here, but Chiefs, you know, they've got it all going for them.
They do, and it's always tough to play against the Chiefs. I mean, you mentioned Spooks there. There might be a window for Legacy to find some opportunities. Is there anything else here at all that we can look at the Chiefs and think maybe that's a weakness, or at least something to try and open up?
Yeah, definitely Chiefs, their strengths, we know where they lie. They're in the laning phase, their rotations, and their teamfights are superb. But if that's one place you can catch them off guard, it's in those small-scale skirmishes. Around Dragon, around Vision, if Legacy can look for those opportunities and pick up on them, you know, they might have a win in their pocket.
Well, we'll have to find it, but let's find out a bit more about it's Oceana's favorite underdogs, Legacy.
Every tournament I've ever played at, I've been the underdog, regardless of form coming in. I'm not sure why, but people don't think I'm very good, it seems. But I'll keep winning, so.
I think Legacy works well as a team because we're friends. You can see, our players, we back each other up, we're always communicating, we never bring each other down, so it's very easy to get back up.
You're sitting next to your best friend or your teammate or someone you've known for a long time, and you really don't want to let them down.
We created Legacy after our first major win. We really wanted to create an organization which we ran.
We decided that we could get everything we wanted on our own. So we had to find our own sponsors, we had to find new managers. It was a lot of work, but I think in the end it was all worth it.
Well, Direwolves have to rush to defend their Nexus. I don't know if they've got enough time. Barely everyone's back alive. Legacy, they are going to finish it. They'll force their date with the Chiefs in the final. 3-1 over Direwolves.
Winning OPL at Luna Park would mean showing all of Oceania how last split Legacy might have gone through a rough patch, but for sure they're a top contender, they're a top team, they've been top before, and they can always win.
First time we ever played Chiefs in a final, I don't think they had lost a tournament in 3 years. Winning record doesn't mean anything to us. We knocked them off then, we knocked them off again after that in the next final. I haven't actually ever lost a final to the Chiefs, so I'm not worried whatsoever. They could win every game forever, and if I play them in a final, it's 50-50.
I think being the underdogs coming in has a beneficial effect. No one expects you to win, so when you start winning, they cheer for you.
If you lose, nobody cares, and if you win, it's the best thing ever.
And there you have it, Legacy, the team that just keeps on beating the Chiefs. And, you know, despite maybe the handle of underdog here and there, certainly a team to fear. They've had an excellent season. And the nice thing is, historically, Rusty, they've just always seemed to have the Chiefs' number.
Something about this matchup just seems to play on the Chiefs' minds, or maybe it's Legacy that step up for their tournaments, for their big finals competitions. As Carbon was saying, they've never lost the Chiefs in a finals, and he's confident.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, think about Legacy just last year and how good they were playing. You think about Winter, before they were even Legacy when they created it. You can see the Winter final, a very dramatic best of 5, but a win nonetheless for the side.
Yeah, most people are going to say this was the best event that they've ever been a part of or seen in their entire esports career. It was just a miracle. This team, Immunity at the time, now Chiefs, have barely ever lost a game. It's the same as right now. So the upset well and truly playing onto the minds of the Chiefs, you would imagine, and Legacy, the team to deliver that blow.
And of course, that history extends there as well. Not only did they win in Winter, taking them there, managed to knock them off in the semi-final there as well, beating them in another very long set. I mean, couldn't win that event, unfortunately for them, but that's twice now that the Chiefs have been beaten in best of 5s. You know they're thinking now, please not again, not again, I can't have this happen to me.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want it to happen to them again, but just to retouch on it, you know, if any team can do that, it has to be Legacy. They're this stellar side that comes up, they are really good on the day when it comes to performance. So you look to them as the team that could potentially upset.
Yeah, I mean, like we heard Carbon say, haven't lost to them yet, don't plan on doing it anymore. I mean, 14-0 is a great record for the Chiefs, but they can only go undefeated for so long. If Carbon can mess that up, then that's great. And just to remind you, they have never lost to the Chiefs in best of 5s. Not yet. Tonight may be the first night, which would, like everything else, or in a best of 3, sorry, no best of series losses, which would make this already a great event absolutely historic for Legacy.
It's completely contrast as well. The Chiefs, they always have this stellar season. They went undefeated this split. They lost one game last split in the second last week in the third last game against the last side. So they are really good at going through splits, but when it comes to the finals, they do show weakness.
Well, we'll have to see. So Legacy, let's talk about players and Rhymeister. Once again, I want to come to you for some expertise on the mid lane. We heard a little bit about about Swiffer. You played against him. What about Choo-Choo's? You played against him quite a few times as well.
Yeah, Choose is definitely a mid laner who can match Swiffer in that area. Legacy have traditionally looked to him as a carry point, and he will step up in this finals, and if he does, then Legacy might come up with a win, especially around skirmishes.
Yeah, and the best part is that he basically skipped the Ezreal patch. So Choo-Choo's went on holidays, but he came back at the perfect time to actually just be in his strengths again.
Yeah, he did. And Alex, I want to go to you now and get your thoughts on some other things as well, because we've, of course, had another change, not just Choo-Choo's coming back, but a new support player tonight as well.
Yeah, Claire coming in to replace Flying Jew, who's been temporarily suspended. We were a bit concerned about whether or not Claire will absolutely deliver on it, but we saw his mid lane play in the set against Direwolves. He was spectacular. And something Legacy will always tell you is that they treat Claire exactly the same as they would Choo-Choo. So that's good on 2 levels, because Choo-Choo's getting all the support that Claire got is going to perform possibly even better as a starting mid laner. And secondly, no one doubts that Claire is a spectacular player. He loves his brushes, you know, and supports love to roam in the bushes, so we might see a bit of aggressive support play from him. His fundamentals are top-notch, and you know, if I'm Legacy, I might not be too worried.
What about you, Rhymeister? You're obviously a pro player. Would it be difficult for you to change roles in what's been maybe 2 to 3 weeks on support?
Definitely. For me, I wouldn't be able to be a support. I just do the dumbest stuff. Like, yeah, the amount of game knowledge that a support has is really important, and the synergy they have with the jungler is also important. Flying Jew is arguably one of the best supports in OS, and this is going to hurt them.
Yeah, it is. And if we're going to look to someone on the team to bring them up, Rusty has to be that jungler. We've heard it from him. He's a very emotional player both on and off the Rift, but Carbon has to have an absolutely huge series once again.
Yeah, Carbon, one of the most improved this split, has definitely shown an increase in his performance, but now he's lost Flying Dew, one of the two vision buddies essentially of the Rift, and he has to step up for this best of 5 series. If Carbon can bring it all together, Claire's got the mechanics to boot, but the vision may be slightly lacking. If Carbon can step up and actually make that mark, get the team going, they can find a victory very easily.
Yep, so we've talked about the teams, but let's get out back into the big top with Riot Hype to introduce our teams.
Well, this is the moment we all been waiting for. You guys ready? The first team I want to bring out here is the Chiefs. Starting in top lane, you guys know him as Swiper. Playing in the jungle, we have Spooks. The king of mid lane, we have Swiffer. And the current kill record holder in ADC, we have Reindeer. And rounding out the roster in support, we got Ejim. Now on the other side of the Rift, their opponents, you know, Team Legacy. In top lane, we have Minky Whale. Next to the captain of Legacy, Corbin. Next is the assassin. In mid lane, we have Choo Choos. At one half of the bot lane, ADC, we have Wally Dagger. And to complete the roster in support, we have Claire.
And thank you again to Riot Hype. We've got our players on stage, so that means Grand Finals is not too far away, but a lot on the line. That sweet trophy. There's a lot of pride, of course, between these two teams, and already, just from that, can't wait to see these two teams take it to game one.
Yeah, it's weird seeing a trophy rise and getting goosebumps, but
yeah,
that is exactly what was happening right then. I feel so excited for this game, even more so than I already was, and it is going to be sick.
Yeah, and of course, from among everything else we have on today, the people here at Luna Park watching at home, we also have some stuff to give away here as well, wherever you're watching out there in the world. So what we want you to do is get a picture of the first Baron of the series. So it doesn't matter which game it's in, just get a picture of the Baron and then get that screenshot or picture to @LOL_Oceanic with that hashtag #IamOPL, which I hope you've all been using all day. I know we have.
Certainly have been. IamOPL has been going off today. Everyone doing crazy activities. The Ziggs, bombs, Ash arrows, Rammus Powerball, everything's going on. And make sure you do get in on this competition and make sure it's the Baron kill.
Yeah, it has to be that first Baron kill of this series, but that will win you some sweet Logitech gear as well. It's been great again to just see what's all been happening.
Twitter's been a lot of fun today, I have to tell you. The amount of silliness that's been happening. So yeah, it's just been great.
I think the best part is actually getting all of the cosplayers and all Oceana retweeting all of that, and it's amazing to actually see it all progress throughout the day. The amount of people here is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just insane. I mean, Manasir, were you even expecting something like this? When it was explained to me what we were doing, I was like, yeah, that seems kind of cool.
Yeah, I was like, Luna Park, OPL, that's insane. But, you know, it completely blew my expectations away. The big screen with the hashtag IamOPL showing what everyone's been up to during the day. You know, I can't be everywhere at once, but with all those tweets on the screen, I really felt like I was.
Yeah, and again, the big screen is, of course, just down off there to the side of me. So hopefully we've got some people watching in the park, but wherever it is, make sure you're on social media and using that hashtag IamOPL. Of course, you can get a CHF win or LGC win as well if you want to cheer for your favorite team. I know, just from the amount of people we saw today in different jerseys, Ryan Master, even though we had a couple of your teammates sneaking in as well, there is a lot of love for both these teams.
Yeah, definitely, but I would argue there's a little bit more love for the Chiefs at the moment.
I think
definitely
so.
Seeing a lot of Chiefs jerseys going around and walking around.
Yeah,
and yeah,
some strong merchandising there from the Chiefs. It's been good, but once again, day has already been unbelievable. Not even into the first game yet, and already it's just been great here. But evenly matched teams, a whole lot of fun. Rides all day. I'm sure everyone's been hyped up on sugar and all the other various drinks there as well coming in. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far, because it's just so good.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. There's just so much actually going on. The fact that the entire park has been completely revamped to have all of this amazing artwork and everything actually all culminating to this one moment. It's been really good.
Yeah, and with that, remember we are at the end, of course, of sort of the OPL split. I guess for the season, actually, for the whole year, we're sort of wrapping things up. But let's take a look at 5 of the most impressive players for their role here at All-Rounder. It's time for the OPL 5. We're going to start things off in that top lane, I believe. Hard to pick players given how strong the whole season has been. Even though we have 2 great teams in the final, there have been 5 great teams here. But let's start things off. It is Swiper from the Chiefs.
Swiper, we've said, is the best player that we could possibly want on a team for that top lane. And he's adaptive and plays exactly what his team needs. He has so many solo kills when it comes to playing League of Legends and laning phase that it's ridiculous. This guy has enough time to fill minutes worth of highlight reels by himself.
Yep, unfortunately there's no Sin Gaming highlights here right now. I know Ryan Meister been involved in a few sticky ones here against the Chiefs, but what is it like playing against Swiper?
Swiper's, oh, well, it's actually not too bad. I like to camp him a lot in solo queue. He gets quite frustrated in all chat, but yeah.
What about an OPL game?
OPL? Oh, yeah, definitely. Don't want to see him on Heckram at all.
No, he's Heckram, and that's been a great thing for me as well, man. Is seeing Swiper just evolve from this big Scion, big tank player in Split 1 to just a carry threat in Split number 2.
Yeah, you talk to him. He says, I play what my team needs. And often, in certain metagames, that is the Scion, the Maokai, the Shen. But, you know, if he gets a chance to pull out maybe that Irelia or Rumble or, God forbid, Tryndamere, you know, you're going to have a hard time in the top lane.
Oh, I hope we get to see that Tryndamere. But let's move on now. Going through our players here, the jungler from Avant-Garde is Shelby as our jungler here for the OPL 5. Got so close to taking a game off the Chiefs. Was ridiculous how that 3rd game of the semi-final ended.
Devastating to think how much damage he actually did in that game. He had the most damage to champions, and Shelby, he really stepped up and was what his team required of him. Just couldn't get there in the end.
And we don't really talk about carry junglers that much, I feel like, but that is exactly what Shelby is still to this day. He's, you know, might have got a little less aggressive here and there, but his playstyle just feels the same.
Yeah, one would have thought that the introduction of Cinderhulk would have hurt his play a little, but for Shelby, not at all. He's still playing the Lee Sin, the Vi, and especially the Nidalee. Game 3 against Chiefs, he nearly brought them to their knees and ended their streak.
Yeah, and that Runeglaive has been great. And I'm sure you've had a fun time against the likes of Nidalee there, Ryan Master, in solo queue and competitive.
No, not at all.
Not a very fun time?
Not fun when your jungler gets hunted and the pressure just comes mid and then Alistair pops out of nowhere and then bad times.
And that's pretty much what Shelby does to you, right?
Yep.
Just hunts you down from the jungle.
I'm more interested about how Alistair got in there.
Alistair, well, like, bot lane loses too, of course, so he just comes mid, pops ult. What are you going to do?
As we do go through now, our next player down the list, mid lane, is where we're going to jump to next. There are so many good mid laners, but it has to be Clay. He hasn't played that many games, but the impact he's made from the mid lane has been phenomenal, Rusty.
Crazy to consider we've picked a sub as our favorite mid laner that we would like, and to consider he's playing support again as well. So there's so many factors that are actually against him, but we saw him in the semis, and there is no reason not to pick Claire. The aggression that he would display, the way he would put it into effect was just so phenomenal.
And like we heard from Manazir earlier, he's just playing like he's a member of Legacy despite being a substitute. So, you know, he is a great player. Certainly plenty of highlights here for that AP Ezreal. Claire is just great, and I'm curious to see how he does tonight. You know, he's already won here for mid lane. Support's a different beast, but I think Claire can do it. He's certainly got the fundamentals, which you highlighted, Alex.
Yeah, unfortunately, AP Ezreal support, not too viable right now. I'm happy for him to prove me wrong, but there's a bit of overlap there in the skill sets between mid and support. A lot of positional-based skills, and I think he's got the game sense, he's got the mechanics. Let's just see if he's got the experience necessary to pull it off.
Certainly got the kills here in this game. You wouldn't know anything about AP Ezreal there. Would you, Ryan Meister?
Yeah, I know plenty about it.
Really? Yeah, I've seen you maybe do some disgusting things, but Claire's pretty good as well.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's all in or nothing at all. So he's very in the bot lane, we might see that volatile matchup, like transition, and we'll see that aggressive play. It might pull off.
Yeah, would you expect like aggressive supports here, maybe, or something crazy like Annie?
Annie, probably towards a Thresh, or maybe even like just Janna just for peel. Depends what the team needs. Yeah. I guess he'll feel all of it.
Well, we'll have to see what Clay gets up to, but we have an AD carry to highlight now. I hate to break it, there are no real surprises here for this one. It is the man himself. Boy, has he had a good split. The most kills in OPL history. It is, of course, Raydir the Slayer.
Yeah, and we touched on Raydir in detail. The fact that he has the most kills in the OPL and the fact that he has more than entire teams by himself. He's a ridiculously good player and has really stepped up.
He's just been great all split long. And how much better has this lane gotten for you? I mean, Raydir's a great individual player, Manazir, but with Ejim there as well, that duo seems almost unbeatable.
Yeah, with Rosie, it was winning lane through those small advantages. You know, you get an extra creep kill here, a bit of harass there. But with Ejim, he's not afraid to just go balls out anymore. And the big two heroes, Kalista and Jinx, they're almost ban-worthy. I just wonder, it's going to be a really hard drafting around Raydir's champion pool.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, Ryan Meister, of course you're a mid laner, but ever had any problems with the old Raydir from the bottom lane?
No, he's just all-around solid, just slightly has an advantage over every other ADC in the region in terms of positioning, team fighting, laning phase, everything.
Yeah, I agree. And last but not least, of course, to round out the OPL 5 in the support, it has to be Flying Dew. Very sad to not see him play tonight, but we said it already. His play throughout the season's been ridiculous. That kill participation is not reasonable at all.
Something like 89%. It's just a ridiculous amount of kills that he has participated in. He's the hook god that we know and love. And it's funny to note that, you know, Ejim, now on the Chiefs, was one of the biggest reasons that Legacy looks so successful. He's that Ejim alley god that he has been known to be. But Flying Dew makes his way into the roster. He steps up to the plate and arguably betters.
He had such a good season, can be considered the best support, I think, in Oceania, but just been stellar play. It's not just his trademark Thresh. It's been almost any champion he gets his hands on. I feel like he was the one getting the Braum there into the metagame, and it's his vision, it's everything. Like, I know you two down the end were talking about it already. It's just like, Dew adds so much to this team that Legacy without him, like, just from these highlight clips alone, it's a big loss for them.
But I do have to point out that that's exactly what people said about Ejim when he left Legacy. People thought, how can you replace Ejim? He's the best support in the region. Well, Flying Dew did it, and now he looks like the best support in the region. So maybe Claire's next.
Maybe. I mean, it could just be a Legacy thing. I guess we'll have to find out. But Flying Dew, it's just been highlight after highlight. This man, just the way he plays. Ryan Meister, I have a question for you. Have you ever got your carry hooked by Flying Dew in the mid-team fight?
Oh, yeah, of course.
How annoying is it?
Yeah, having played on a team with Dew before, I definitely know he's capable of like being the best support in the region. His game knowledge is superb, his vision control is amazing, and just his mechanics as well.
And that was one of the things you were concerned about also, is now that they've got Claire in support, they've actually lost Flying Dew. Can Claire even match the impact, basically, that Flying Dew did have? You said you played on a team with him, you've played against him, and your carries have been hooked. Pretty big loss.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, especially the jungle and support synergy. Yeah. I wonder if that's going to lack in this upcoming match.
Yeah, and again, Carbon just has to have such an impact here in this game that with Claire, I guess, having to be retrained in a position, like, it's just difficult here. But they've always had close matches here. It's not quite time to figure out who you guys pick for your winners, but this match is awesome. Even with Claire in the roster, Flying Dew, fantastic player, had a great season. Looking forward to seeing him play again, but where else to even go, honestly, between these two teams? They're so close despite all the changes.
You know, the biggest difference between these two teams, if you had to put it to anything, it would, again, come back to that jungle. The fact that Spooks, as we mentioned earlier, in a way exploitable from the passivity that he does put into place, Carbon needs to make ganks work. We saw the successful semi-finals they had against the Direwolves where they went 3-1. It was on the back of Carbon's early pressure, camping King just constantly.
I mean, is momentum here a thing as well to consider? I know both Rymeister and Rusty have competitive experience. Manazir, obviously, you've pretty much covered League since you were born, it almost feels like, but how much is it for the Chiefs, who are such a, I say, like, prideful team? They have so much, they hold themselves to such high standards when they play, and they've been so good in Oceania for almost forever, especially this year. If they lose a game, how much does that hurt them as far as momentum goes?
See, I thought about this for a while, and I thought, we saw what happened when Legacy upset Chiefs the first time. They lost one game, and they were in pieces. They could not recover mentally. But every time since then, when they've lost, they've come back stronger. And I think this time, I trust Chiefs to have the mental fortitude to maybe take one loss and bounce back.
Well, I think so as well. And with that, we're getting closer and closer to the finals, but not quite there yet. But gentlemen, I want your predictions for this final. I'm going to start on the other end this time here. Alex Manazir, what is your prediction for this grand final? Team and score, please.
I'm giving it to the Chiefs 3-1. In my head, at least, the ideal situation is that they prove that they've recovered from their problems in the past. And I trust Legacy is a good enough team to take the game, as I said, off those small skirmishes. But whether or not it's a sustainable strategy, whether or not it'll last them 5 games, that's yet to be seen. I
mean, it's sort of an interesting little question to ask you. If they were going to lose again, which game do you think it would be?
I'm going to say game 1.
Game 1? Really? That's bold, sir.
Well, Legacy, like I said, they get pumped up by the crowd. Carbon in front of a crowd is probably in the top 3 players in this region. I just think when they start playing up there, when they learn into the Rift and the crowd is screaming at them, they're going to be in their element.
Well, great stuff there, Rymeister. Now I need your prediction here, of course. Your team didn't make it, unfortunately. Sorry about that, Sin Gaming. Oh, sorry, I keep
hey, at least I play.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What's your prediction? Team and scoreline, please.
Chiefs 3-0.
Ooh.
Why? Because they've just been so dominant in this split. I don't really see Legacy outclassing them in team fights, and that is their strength, so yeah.
You do realize that that's never happened in the history of Oceanic League of Legends.
But it will happen tonight.
It will happen tonight.
Very confident.
That is insanely confident.
Hopefully it doesn't, though, because I would love to see a 3-2 series go either way.
How do I... That's interesting. 3-0. I mean, what about it as far as their dominance goes? Is it like just Radio being so strong? Is it Claire in the Legacy lineup? What specifically do you think has sort of led to that prediction for you?
They're very strong. All their lanes are very strong, and they just have such good overall synergy. And the loss of Dew would just hurt Legacy so much. I don't think they can recover in these finals.
I guess we'll have to find out when we get there. Rusty, now down to you. I think I could probably read these two guys' minds if I absolutely had to, but I don't really know what you did. You might have tricked me here. I'm not going to guess, Rusty. I'm going to ask for your team and score for your prediction, please.
So I thought I'd throw in a random answer just to be a complete wild card. No, I went Chiefs 3-0.
Wow.
Yeah. I am joining the bandwagon with Rymeister. I am on the Chiefs hype train. Chiefs are going to take this 3-0.
Who's the conductor of the hype train, can I ask you? Is it Rymeister or is it you?
He was probably more confident than I was.
That's true.
I do have a reason more so is that I guess if the Chiefs win game 1, they will 3-0. If Legacy, as you said, win game 1 themselves, it will go to 5 games.
Okay, so expressed as a percentage, how difficult is it for Legacy to recover if they're down 0-2?
I would say it is an 80% chance that Chiefs win if they get game 1.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Just if they get game 1?
Yeah.
And it'll be a 3-0 from that point?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I agree. They're very dominant. How troublesome is it for Legacy, given that back in winter they leaned on their team fighting, and now the Chiefs just seem so good at it?
Well, I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue for team fighting. I think they're both fairly matched when it comes to their team fighting strength. So if it does get to late game stage, Legacy probably going to win.
Well, we'll have to find out, of course, and that leaves me and my lone prediction. And gentlemen,
should I be worried?
Somewhat sorry, I did pick Legacy. And just for a bit of drama, I picked it 3-2 is my score there for the finals. If nothing else, I just want to see the dream be lived.
Well, I agree that if Legacy win, it will be 3-2.
Yep.
I don't think that Legacy will win. So why?
I mean, for me, Legacy are a team that, not just historically, have always been good against the Chiefs, but I feel like there's enough surprises here. Like, certainly, like Alex said, they can at least win a game. And I feel like once Legacy get a foothold into a game, they just don't let go. Like, it's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason this prediction has to be 3-2 because of how close it would be.
Yeah.
But I think they can pull it out. Look, it's definitely not going to be easy. It'll be the most dramatic win they've ever had. But I think they can keep that very clean best-of-5 record alive.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, fellow analysts, but I don't think you really watched all of the split, given how Chiefs performed.
I'm a bit concerned about Pastry right now. Legacy 3-2, that's the spectator dream, I believe, but I just don't think it's that realistic.
As a reminder, I am the host, so I get to live the dream. That is my job, but thank you for your professional opinions, at least, as far as that goes. We'll see who has the last laugh, Manazir. It's probably going to be you guys.
We will see.
Well, you know what? At least mix it up a little bit, Rusty.
Yeah, no, it's good that you mixed it up. I'm happy that you actually mixed up the results. And if I was going to go for Legacy, I would say 50-50 as to who I was going to choose. And if it was Legacy, it would have been 3-2 myself. So I'm okay with the decision. I just don't really agree with it.
Well, you know what? How about we let these players decide instead? It's about grand finals time, so let's hand off to the Cassidas for Atlas and Spawn. But before we do, let's just take a look into Oceania's rich League of Legends history.
Kickback Zach, they're going to pick up the initiator. Alicia getting chased down as well. Radiant Lord going to get slowed up. First man goes in. He's happy though, but the Cannon's going to come out. Swiffer taking a lot of damage. He dies. That's not good news.
Oceanic League of Legends Championships. 4 teams made it through a massive qualifier over 2 weeks of 603 teams, and unfortunately, only one can win the trip to Gamescom Germany.
Decimate takes a lot of damage. He's dead as Evan picks that one up in immunity. I think they've done it. The Nexus banned now. Sooner going to get taken out here as well. Swiper taking it up. The Nexus taking damage and immunity. They have done it. They will go to Gamescom. Good game. Well played.
Going to be the game. Genuinely 3 games straight here, right into winter. They are your autumn regional champions.
Welcome everyone to the Oceanic Winter Grand Final here at Supernova Perth.
That's an ace, and that is Avant-Garde Ascension going to the wildcard tournament.
And welcome everyone, it's PAX Australia's Grand Finals time here. Everything is bigger, the teams are bigger, the crowd is bigger and better. Can they do it, Porky? Yes, they do!
Battled it out over 7 weeks.
Perfection gets Cocooned out here, racking the moment. The Chiefs finally win.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Oceanic Pro League already at our first semi-final.
They are going to finish it.
Radiant looking to try and get his team to the grand finals. This means that Legacy is going to meet the Chiefs at the OPL final on August 8th at Luna Park. It is going to be absolutely